Hello and welcome to the Hoop Collective podcast. We talk about the NBA, which we're doing on Thursday evening. Joining us from New Orleans, Louisiana. I don't know why he's there. Tim Bontemps.
Hello, everybody.
I actually do know why, but I'm going to let you say.
Yeah, I'm down here for the pro basketball negotiation competition that Stephen Mervis from the Magic and a bunch of other executives have put on for a long time. Our guy Bobby Marks down here. Good to see him. Fun couple days. Sat into some negotiations this morning on Mark Williams contracts, which was interesting.
Mark Williams is getting his contract negotiated there?
Well, it's the way it works is there's law students from all over the country, and they all come here and compete, and they are the team and the agent are different teams depending on what the negotiation's about. And the prompt this morning was to come up to an agreement on Mark Williams' contract this summer. It's interesting to see how they went about it.
What was the agreement that they were reached? We can compare it to the real thing later.
The first group couldn't come to a deal, and the second one came to a deal. I want to say it was 4 years for $92 million, I think, with a team option.
Joining us from Dallas, Texas, is Ben MacMahon.
Howdy, partners. I don't get invited to those highfalutin academic conferences. I'm not sure why Bontemps does either, to be honest with you. Probably Bobby needed somebody to carry his briefcase around.
How well do you think Bontemps would do in a negotiation?
Not well, because there'd be no conversation. He'd just interrupt all the time, so there's no way a deal could get agreed to.
You want to talk about celebrities here? There is one celebrity here, and it is our guy Bobby Marks. He is the number one guy in the building. Everybody wants to see him.
As he should be.
As he should be, no question. And hello, everybody. I didn't get that in before.
Speaking of, I don't remember why I was thinking about Matt Ishbia. You said something that made me think of Matt Ishbia.
Well, he had the anti-tank
we're talking about
today.
Mark Williams is on the Suns. So that's probably
why.
That's why.
I was thinking about Mark Williams. You're right. I was thinking that Matt Ishbia should get the notes from those negotiations. Look, I respect when owners come out and go do things on the record. I love it. I want it to keep continuing. I love it. Mark Cuban the other day, who's now just a part owner, basically came out and said that tanking is a good thing.
Let's celebrate tanking was his move. I was like, okay,
he's the guy who's paid
more
more fines for tanking than any owner in NBA history. Of course, he's pro-tank.
Well, I'll say this. I'm not going to read all of Ishbia's tweet because it's long, but will read a couple of key sentences, and I will just say, he said, tanking is losing behavior done by losers. This is much worse than any prop bet scandal. This is throwing games strategically. Horrible for fans that pay to watch and cheer for their teams. Awful behavior that Adam Silver and the NBA will need to stop with massive changes, and I have complete confidence that with his confidence and leadership, he will fix it. I respect all of those comments. I appreciate he said it on the record. Having said that, he's traded control of his draft for the foreseeable future.
Right.
Well, so I just want to say those two things.
Both things can be true.
he came in and basically said, "We will never tank." And if you don't believe me, watch this. Go all the picks. Okay.
I believe him. I want to tell you, I believe Matt Ishbia.
Well, actions over words. His actions are, "We will never tank." And I agree with the vast majority of his statement, except for the done by losers part. There's some champions who have tanked to become champions. There's dynasties that have tanked to set the foundation for a dynasty. So, I'm not going to, it is losing behavior. I mean, technically, it absolutely is losing behavior. The done by losers part's my only quibble with that whole thing.
Well, that's my whole thing. The reason I really don't want to talk about tanking in the individual tanking things, when I made my plea last week, I didn't want to talk about individual tanking moments, is because I don't think it's done by losers. I think it's done by good people. And I didn't want to target what I think are good people. And so I'm giving them all a pass. I'm not doing what Matt Ishbia did.
Also, some of the people, some of the franchises that aren't happy about it now have benefited from it before. So it is on Adam Silver and the competition committee to get this thing figured out to make the incentive structure different.
I have some breaking news we don't need Shams for. Humans will act in their own interest. They will not be objective and act in their own interest.
That's why I wrote a column for .com on Thursday about my proposed fix to fix the problem, which is going to be proposed by an executive in the league, which gets to the heart of that, which is to give teams an incentive to win. And that proposal is to have wins, not losses, count towards your lottery seeding at some point in the schedule. Could do it starting today after the All-Star break. You could do it starting after the trade deadline, at whatever point around this time in the schedule. You go from having teams trying to lose to teams trying to win. And if we were sitting here today on Thursday afternoon, going into this Wizards-Pacers game on Thursday night with Ivica Zubac making his debut for the Pacers and Pascal Siakam playing and Trae Young playing and Anthony Davis on the way back and Jaren Jackson Jr. playing in his return to Memphis for the Jazz today, and all those games had meaning, that would be super exciting for people who like watching basketball like us. And it would give us a lot of stuff to talk about instead of what we have now, which is a third of the league not interested in playing for the next 2 months. And as I thought somebody put well when I was talking to him about this idea, we currently have this situation where for a big chunk of the league, there's just this slow drift away from the sport for the next 2 months, where there's really not a reason to be engaged or pay attention. Whereas if every game counted for wins towards getting a high pick right now or making the playoffs, you'd have everybody incentivized to be trying these next couple months, no matter where their team was at. And that would lead to the best possible product, by the way, at a time of the schedule when after the Super Bowl, everybody starts paying attention instead of it just being about all these teams not caring and not trying and guys not playing and getting shut down with injuries and all this other stuff that we are going through right now.
Well, at a certain point, it's about the product, and the product is severely damaged by this. And as much as Cuban wants tanking to be celebrated and whatever, he was still charging full prices for tickets when the Mavericks were tanking, and it is not a full price product.
He said their fans loved it.
Well, they love getting Luka as a result of it, but they
Right.
sure as hell didn't love the season before that, or even the season before that.
They had to trade up for Luka. They didn't get it. They didn't have lottery luck. They traded up. All right. This is one of our favorite days on the podcast. By the way, one quick thing. I don't want to talk more about tanking, but I was talking to a league executive today, and he said to me, this is after, Darren Peterson had 23 points in 18 minutes. And after we've seen some other top guys have big time games over the last 4 or 5 days.
Darius Acuff with 49 last night.
Is that what he had? He's what? He's projected what, top 5? He's not even top 3.
No, he's
right?
I've seen him 9th.
Okay. Anyway, I had an executive tell me the number 1 pick this year is worth $100 million. That if you gave the opportunity to buy that pick, teams would pay $100 million for it. And so keep that in mind when the Jazz were fined $500,000. Okay. It's a big day because it's time for the second edition of the Bontemps poll. Oh, we love the Bontemps poll.
Hold on. These get feisty. I've come prepared. Hold on just a second.
Oh, God, this would be good.
You guys tend to go at each other. So I've got my referee jersey on and I'm ready to roll. Let's go.
Okay, first off,
this
so
is
MacMahon,
ridiculous.
For those not watching, MacMahon just unveiled. I thought you were zipped up a little higher than normal. I sensed a wardrobe situation. MacMahon's wearing a referee jersey. Let me just say, that's fine. You want to be the referee, fine. But you two have ganged up on me a number of times. So if you're the referee,
damn it, where's my whistle? Technical foul on Wendy, bitching too much.
You got a little tea.
Let me Scott Foster.
Give me a little tea. I got to get a little tea.
Little tea.
Our referee friends listen to this pod are going to be very insulted to get you're on here wearing a referee jersey after all your slander of it.
It's an amateur one. It's not the NBA gray. It's the old stripes.
Could say you're an amateur in a few other ways too.
I need to get the hokas because all those little short munchkin refs wear those thick hokas.
See, what are you doing? Why are you taking shots at the refs today?
I'm a reporter. Why? I report facts.
Okay.
Would you wear the lanyard or no lanyard? Because when we had the refs on last year, James Capers and Tyler Ford got into borderline, verbal fisticuffs.
I'm gonna tell you something. I'll be real honest. I've not been doing real well as far as getting on that elliptical. I need a lanyard because I'm going to run out of breath if I can run up and down.
Well, I will just say that the penalty for losing your whistle, which is that you buy the drinks. And
I've seen some of those refs drink. That's
I know you're not like to buy, though. You're looking for a free drink.
He
so
definitely doesn't like to buy drinks. We know all about that.
Yes,
I get you on scholarship though.
Yeah, it's the thing about MacMahon. He went to school, went to college for many years, was never on scholarship, but now that he's out of college, he's got to
catch up. He's got to catch up on the scholarship.
All right, Bontemps, I turn the floor over to you.
Yes, here we are, second straw poll of the year. We will start at the bottom like we usually do and work our way up.
Okay, I want to just point out, even though I turn the floor over to you, 100 likely MVP voters from all 30 markets. This is
and internationals.
This very much mimics the actual poll itself, which is why it has proven to be so predictive. Okay, go ahead.
All right, so we'll just start right off. In 11th place by himself, 8 points, 4 total votes, a third place, and 3 fifth place votes. I think one thing I'll say off the top, in a sign of how I think open this is for a couple of reasons, every single person who got a vote, all 11 of them, got at least one third place vote. So I think,
Really?
Yes.
Wow, that shocks me because I think there's 4 clear cuts, and then we can. I think the debate goes for that 5th spot.
Well, that's not how I would say the voting unfolded, and it is interesting, and I think indicative a little bit of how the games played this year has wreaked some havoc, I think, with the voting. So now I'll say who it is. So with 1 third place vote, 3 fifth place votes, 4 total votes, and 8 total points, in 11th place is the most, how did Brian describe him? The most underrated American person in sports or something this week. Anthony Edwards, Minnesota Timberwolves guard. I can't remember actually what you said. What were you?
I think he's the most underrated star in basketball.
Okay.
I don't know if he's
who
underrated.
Should be higher? Denny Avida? I mean, what are we?
Well, no, I just couldn't remember what the clip was from Get Up earlier this week with Matt Barrett.
I mean, he's not exactly an anonymous guy. He's got
why is he underrated?
I just think that, first off, like his jersey sales were like 7th.
Okay.
We have some internal metrics at ESPN that I'm not going to get into that indicate he's not, people don't follow him as much as they do other players. And I think he should be the centerpiece of I think he should be like top 3 or 4 in terms of building primetime games around him because, I would say there's a couple of players in the league. It's a very small amount that almost guarantee that they will do something in every game. Like you go watch this guy play and he will do something in that game that you will remember. Like that was LeBron for decades. That is Victor Wembanyama. That is, in my view, Ant Edwards. Cooper Flagg's on the watch list for that, by the way. He's not quite there yet.
Ant's no doubt one of the most entertaining players. I as far as like the click stuff and the TV viewership, I don't think market size matters as much as it used to in a social media world, but it does still matter.
Well, I think he's pretty popular. I'd say he's properly rated, but we'll see.
We've got an Ant jersey in this house. It's I'm a middle schooler, but we've got an Ant jersey. We've also had some Ant shoes.
And he's got some unbelievable commercials. The Adidas commercials, they've done an incredible job, in my opinion, with those. They're awesome.
You should have seen, they built a whole Ant village in LA for All-Star.
Did you go in there?
Weekend. No, I watched them build it. They built it oddly at the wrong arena. They built it at Crypto Arena. I thought that was kind of strange, but
there was I don't know, downtown LA versus middle of nowhere Inglewood.
I know, but were people coming to downtown LA
outside Foot Locker had a whole complex thing going on outside of Crypto?
Was the
that's where I got this. Just kidding.
Was the jam session at the convention center? Is that why maybe it was there? I don't know.
I couldn't tell you. I got out there before All-Star Weekend really started.
Me too.
I can't say either. So Anthony Edwards was 11th for context in the first poll. So next up, 10th place, 1 third place vote, 1 fourth place vote, 2 fifth place votes, so 4 total votes and 10 total points. Down from 7th in the first poll is Philadelphia 76ers star Tyrese Maxey.
All right.
Not really
that's
too
fine.
surprising with the way their team has fallen off a little bit, but he's still had a great year. Obviously started as an all-star starter this year.
A bit surprised he's ahead of Ant, but Ant's apparently drastically underrated.
I mean, that's also 4 votes each. I mean, they're basically tied. All right, this was one of the more interesting ones in here. In 9th place, 1 third place vote, 3 fourth place, and 3 fifth place votes for 7 total votes and 17 total points. Down from 5th in the first poll is New York Knicks star Jalen Brunson.
Okay.
I think I put Jalen 5th in my last ballot, and he was not on my ballot here. So I contributed.
I might have done
to
the
that.
same. I did not have him. I think he was 5th in my last one. I didn't have him on this one either.
I don't think he is playing poorly or anything, but
no, I think he's a second team All NBA guy, which doesn't get you on the MVP ballot.
Fair.
Or get you 9th in the voting.
Sure.
It also should be noted this was the first ballot ever, or the first straw poll ever since 2017 when we did the first one that Giannis wasn't on, because Giannis isn't eligible anymore.
By the way, it's a hell of a run. 9 years
I've done
or
like
whatever.
17 of them, I think, in over the years in that whole span. He's the only guy that had been at least 1 vote on every one.
There's a reason why his wishy-washy, not a trade demand, not a trade request, but maybe I'd like to leave saga gets so much attention.
That's you're 100% right on that front. Okay, so this was a pretty fascinating one, I thought. In 8th place, not on the first ballot, 3 third place votes, 1 fourth place vote, 2 fifth place votes, 6 total votes, and 20 total points. You guys want to guess? Didn't get a vote the last time?
Didn't get a vote the last time.
Mm-hmm.
That's an interesting one.
I think it should be a pretty good hint. Considering the way he's played recently.
The way he's played recently. I give up.
You got a guess, Brian?
Moussa Diabate.
The Moose. The way for you to get Buzz City Killers in here. There are no Buzz City Killers on the list.
It's a shame.
No, it's the guy who scored, I think, 31 points in a row, or what it felt like in the All-Star game on Sunday.
Interesting.
Kawhi Leonard.
All right, boy.
I was looking. I made the mistake of only looking at the top 6 in the standings. I mean, listen, the Clippers they're in 10th place.
I mean, listen, as Vinny, I think, correctly said. As Vinny correctly said on the pod the other day, he's arguably been the best player in the league in the last couple months. So he's been unbelievable. So
he said that, and I sort of rocked back, and then I was like, "Do I have a strong, contest for that? Not strong."
He's playing as well as he ever has, but sorry, to be on an MVP ballot, your team needs to be above 500.
Well, listen, that's why I thought it was interesting, and it's just the further curse of Kawhi with the Clippers that, as Brian said the other day, the way he's playing now, that the team has now got no chance to do anything at all.
Mm-hmm.
All right, in 7th place, 27 total points, 1 third place vote, 3 fourth place votes, 6 fifth place votes, so 11 total votes, and up from 10th in the last one is our favorite Cavs corner, straw poll guy, Donovan Mitchell.
Well, I will tell you that the Cavs have been not irritated, but calling for Donovan to get more attention because they believe he's been as good this year as he was last year when he was first team All-NBA.
Which is fine, and they've been winning lately, and that's going to help. When they were down in play-in territory, Donovan wasn't going to get that kind of consideration. They're 4th in the East now, with just a game and a half out of 2nd. So if they keep winning, his case keeps improving. His stats are as good as they've ever been. That's for sure.
And as we've talked about, they got a chance to really zoom up the standings. I misspoke on that. He had 1 second, 1 third, 3 fourth, and
1 second is aggressive.
Well,
whoa,
yeah,
Windy. What are you thinking?
6 fifths. It was not window. It was not window. Okay, in 6th. With 5 third place votes, 12 fourth place votes, 26 fifth place votes for 43 total votes and 87 total points. Up from 9th in the last one is Boston Celtics forward, Jaylen Brown. And to show you where Jaylen is compared to where he's been in the past, I believe before this year he had 3 total votes ever in the straw poll. In the last one, he had 11, and in this one, he's got 43.
Before this year, he wasn't the best candidate on his team. And
no, I agree. I'm not saying he should have gotten a lot of votes. It's a credit to the way he has played and carried this team that he's got a real shot, particularly if there is some injury issues, to be a top 5 MVP vote getter, which is not something I ever thought I would say.
All right. Well, our guy Perk has been pounding the table, saying he's his number one, and he has been saying that for a month. Wasn't like he said it after he had one good game a few weeks ago.
I think number one is aggressive, but certainly
who's the table pounder?
Make an argument for
Perk
higher.
Oh, Perk. Perk doesn't delve too deeply into the advanced stats.
Oh, don't you?
He doesn't. I'm just saying, like, the case against is the advanced. He's not an advanced stats darling.
It has never been an advanced stats darling, to put it mildly.
Can I pull the curtain back a little bit on the countdown show? Our guy Stats Williams.
No. We do know him. We love him.
Our guy.
Matt Stats Williams, who, by the way, we all call him Stats, but Michael Malone has given him a new nickname.
Oh, really? I haven't heard this.
And I'm gonna say it's a cool nickname. It's a bit of an ironic nickname if you know him, but it's such a cool nickname that I might have to go that direction.
Stats is like his first name anyway, so you can have a nickname with a nickname with first
name. He calls him Matty Ice.
Matty Ice?
Oh, that.
The reason he calls him Matty Ice, so here's the thing, like, he is, like, at the ready at any time for us on Countdown. So not only does he, like, prep us, but, like, if there's, like, seriously, like a 30-second lull, like...
he will immediately get you an answer.
Malone will be like, Matty Ice! And he comes in. What's up, coach? Who was third place in right-handed drives in 2024? It was Jaylen Brown, coach. All right. And, and he's, so we have great research folks at ESPN, but Matty Ice is we've got Michael Schwartz, who we call Schwartz Center.
That's right.
And Jason Joseph,
for him, a big Suns fan. Though he's having a renaissance this year with the Suns.
Those are the guys that are topping the stats nerds straw poll.
That's right.
We've got Jason Joseph, who goes by J-Jo, and he recently suffered an ACL tear.
Oh, no.
He's recovered.
I didn't know that.
Well, he's recovered. But, like, you can go to him on, like, knee injury stuff. He's like, he can give you stats and knee injury stuff. So.
One-stop shopping.
That's right. All right. Sorry. Go ahead.
Was that to say something else? Oh, you were just pulling back the curtain was just to give Stats his nickname on the show?
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't know if there was something else.
I don't remember what I was doing. Don't call me out. The other day, seriously,
sounds about right, folks.
I listened back to the real talk here. I listened back to the pod I did the other day, and I took NyQuil, like actual hardcore NyQuil, not like Dayquil, like the blue, whatever, the aqua pill or whatever. I hadn't had that in like a decade, and even though it was like many hours before I did the podcast, I was still feeling it in my head. I was not 100%. So anything that I said on that podcast, because I said it when I listened back, I said a few things that I was like, I didn't say that. And like, I think you guys actually were kind of generous.
Hold on a second. Are we supposed to have like a confessional every time that we do a podcast that we might be slightly impaired?
Well, I'm just saying I don't do this. I'm just saying I was
under man's got to do it every pod.
Hold on.
Here's a disclaimer.
I didn't sign up for that.
There was just times where I was like, my head was just floating a little bit. Like it hit me hard. So, it sort of indicates my level of drug usage is when NyQuil knocks me for a loop. But all right, sorry. Go ahead, Bontemps.
Yeah, so that's the first and maybe last windy drug update.
I feel pretty confident about that. All right, in fifth place, 2 second place votes
right now.
What do we got? Oh, there you go.
I have Halls.
Oh, Halls. Okay.
I don't have any good stuff with me.
We're as usual, we're in a highly professional outfit here on the Hoop Collective. In fifth place, final person to not get a first place vote. 2 second place votes. 17 third place votes, 23. Oh, no, sorry. Yeah. 2 second place votes, 17 third place votes, 19 fourth place votes, and 21 fifth place votes, 59 total
place?
votes. Fifth place.
Can I guess?
177 total votes or total points. Yes, I was going to ask both of you to guess.
Victor Wembanyama.
Motorcade Cunningham.
You're both wrong.
Whoa.
What? Luka?
It is Los Angeles Lakers guard Luka Doncic.
Wow.
Oh.
Okay. There's going to be some grumbling coming from the West Coast there.
Oh,
now,
boy.
Again, I think part of the thing here, I would guess, is we're getting into the games played situation. And you have a lot of these guys at the top who have already missed a lot of games. Luka's already missed, I think, 12 or 13 games.
Producer Devon, a resident Laker fan here, is pissed. Oh, he's pissed.
A big part of, and this gets back to why Tim has the referee jersey on. I mean, a part of the debate on this award at times in the past has been how many games have people played. And I think especially with, people bumping up against the eligibility numbers, it's obviously going to have an impact if guys aren't eligible. And it's also, I think, factoring into people's minds that guys are close to not being eligible. So I would also say the top of this list is pretty loaded. So I don't think it's a huge insult to be fifth either.
It's loaded. And he has the worst record among the guys that are going to be, or the Lakers have the worst record among the guys who, are left here.
I mean, I had him a little bit higher. The reason the Lakers have the record that they do is largely because Luka has been so great.
Yeah, they're 27-15 when he plays. He is leading the league in scoring. And averaging 8 rebounds, almost 9 assists. Also, honestly, Luka gets a lot of the blame for the Lakers' defensive issues.
There's a lot of blame to go around on that.
Yeah, I would say he's part of the problem, but there's a blame pie. He can have a slice of it, but there's plenty to go around there.
Luka likes pie.
Luka was third in the last one. He is fifth in this one. So we now know the top 4. I think it's safe to say. You guys guessed 2 of them, so we will see what order they're in.
I'm going to say those guys are going to be the next 2.
Well, we'll see.
Wendy, where did you have Luka on your ballot?
Hold
Fourth.
on.
Fork had him third.
Oh, sorry, Bontemps.
We just discussed Luka, so we can say where we had him.
Another homer vote from you on Luka. You've often
technical on Bontemps. I'm in charge.
Wow, we got a whistle.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Yeah,
amazing.
I'm in charge.
Oh, yeah, you're in charge. Okay. All right. So in fourth place with 3 first place votes, 3 second place votes, 19 third place votes, 23 fourth place votes, and 27 fifth place votes. So 75 total ballots and 242 total points. Who do we think it is?
I'll go with Victor.
I'm going to guess Cade.
Okay, so you guess Cade and Brian guessed Victor. Brian is correct. Victor is up from 8th in the last poll when he had 8 votes all the way up to 75. And I will say right now, I think I'm tempted to say the most likely person to win MVP that's not Shea is Victor, because this reminds me a lot. This reminds me a lot of...
he calls this stuff. I'm just going to say, as much as I'd like to make fun of him here.
This reminds me a lot of the year when Embiid won. And at the start of the year, Embiid had an injury early in the year and missed some time and I don't think he had a single vote, or he had maybe 1 vote in the first poll. And he was very grumbly about it at the time. And I just said, hey, if you keep playing games and you're healthy, it's probably going to work out okay. And in the second one, he got up to 3rd behind Giannis and Jokic. And then obviously, famously in the last one, he ended up 2 points ahead of Jokic, and he goes on and wins a narrow vote to win the award. And, our guy, the machine, Kevin Pelton, called me after listening to the pod on Wednesday and rapped my knuckles because I hadn't really looked at the standings.
When the machine raps your knuckles, it's painful.
Well, the machine was immediately like, have you looked at the standings lately? And I said, yes, I looked at it after the pod because I sort of just said that the Spurs are going to have to get through Denver and Oklahoma City at the first 2 rounds. The Spurs are only a couple games back of the Thunder.
Yeah, three games back. With obviously the tiebreaker.
And obviously the tiebreaker. And if Victor continues to play like he is, and the Spurs get past the Thunder and have the best record in the Western Conference, that is a formula for Victor Wembanyama to be the MVP. And it is certainly within the bounds of possibility based off where things sit right now.
Well, Jackson says that the DraftKings odds right now for Victor are 35-1.
That's a pretty good bet.
I wouldn't say it's a good bet, but there's value.
There's value.
Well, there's not a lot of value in MVP voting in general, in my opinion, because usually people pick all these long shot people that have no chance to win. What I would say is there should not be anybody at 35-1 who has a real chance to win, and I think Victor does.
Yeah, and it's gone from a 2-horse race to more of an open field. Like, I feel like any of these top 5 guys at least have a legitimate chance. Because look,
I don't think Luka can win.
If he leads the league in scoring and the Lakers end up as a top
here's a problem.
4
Like,
seed.
what if Shea, I mean, you're talking, I mean, a factor here is what if Shea misses? I know he's missed only like maybe 9 games so far.
I think he's missed 4.
No, he's missed more than that.
I looked it up to you for my story. I think he's missed 4.
No.
I'll double check.
No chance. He had missed 3 before this injury.
He's played 49 games, and the Thunder have played 50. They've played 50. Oh, yeah, they've played 56. So he's missed 7.
Yeah, so he's missed 7.
All right.
Look,
all right. Well, that's
you've got Joker right on the, close to the edge. Wemby's right close to the edge. I'm just saying, Cade, if the Pistons continue to be the number 1 seed in the Eastern Conference,
well, let's just get
Okay.
to Cade, because Cade is next. So,
but the same thing with Wemby. If you just said before the season, hey, the Spurs are the number 2 seed in the West, your first thought would have been, damn, Wemby might be the MVP.
Yep. We talked about that. Before the season. If the Spurs are in the top 6, it'd be Victor's going to be first team All-NBA. And certainly that's headed that way if he stays healthy. So Cade Cunningham is third, as you correctly predicted, MacMahon. They're the next 2 guys. 1 first place vote, 9 second place votes, 38 third place votes, 37 fourth place votes, 8 fifth place votes, 93 total ballots, and 382 total points, up from 4th. I should say, in the last one. And the reason I don't think Luka can win is, I mean, part of it's I just don't think the Lakers are realistically going to be able to stay up with these teams in the top 4. I guess if they do, that's one thing. And I think if there is injuries at the top, Cade is the one I think that's in position to win the award as a guy who's led the Pistons from wire to wire in the East to potentially the best record in the league. I certainly think he's got a stronger case, and he's not really very close to the injury stuff. I think it's hard to see him falling below, barring a freak injury.
MacMahon, where did you have Cade on your ballot? It sounds like
I had Cade 5th, and I'm not going to I don't have a problem with people having him 3rd. I feel like there was kind of
double the most third place votes of any other person, so it's pretty clear third choice.
I had Wemby 3rd. No, I'm sorry. I had Luka 3rd, Wemby 4th, Cade 5th. And look, obviously the record is the biggest thing in Cade's favor over Luka. Luka's stats are significantly better. He's got better stat. Cade's averaging 1 more assist per game. Wemby's significantly better rebounder, scores significantly more points, et cetera, et cetera. So that was my logic there. But again, I don't have any issue with people having Cade this high on their ballot. He's unquestionably a first-team All-NBA player.
Well, do you have any issue with having Cade 2nd? Because that's where I had him.
I still think there's 2 lead horses, but I'm not going to rip you.
Well, here's the thing. You guys know how I feel about the way Jokic was playing this year. It was one of the most. I voted for Jokic for first in the last ballot, and I very well could end up putting Jokic first on the final ballot and the real ballot if I get a vote. We don't know yet, but if I get a vote, because I think he's fabulous. However, with the missed games, and since he's come back, he's just slipped a little bit. He's had some good stat games, but by his standards, he hasn't quite been at the level. And guys, when you watch the Pistons play, they have a formula for how they win. And Cade is driving that bus. And especially in a close game, they go to him and he just carries them home time after time after time. I wouldn't say the team 100% reminds me of them, but in terms of the makeup of the team, but the season that the Pistons are having right now is reminiscent to me of the season that the Bulls had in 2011 when LeBron went to Miami and there was sort of a shakeup of the power in the Eastern Conference. And Derrick Rose won the MVP that year, and on the back of the Bulls won like 61 games that season. And they weren't overpowering. They were obviously great defensively. Tibbs' first year, I believe. But basically, they defended like crazy. They rebounded like crazy. And when the games got close, they handed the ball to their point guard. He carried them home game after game after game. And the Pistons probably, I don't have it looked up, but I'll bet the Pistons have a much better net rating than the Bulls did that year when they were the number 1 seed in the East. But Cade has carried this team to victory after victory after victory. They just go to him and he just gets it done. And so, at this moment in time, I'm going to be honest with you. I think overall at ESPN, and I'm as guilty of this as anybody, we haven't done a good enough job in highlighting the Pistons. We're going to be doing a little bit more coming up. They're on national TV next week. We're doing an all-access game with them. They play the Cavs next Friday. But I also just kind of want to give him a nod, and to that sort of the whole team a nod. And so I thought about it for a while, but I decided to go with him second. Obviously, there were 9 people that did that, and would you say one first place vote?
One first place vote, yep. And I like the comp to that Bulls team. I think is a really apt one. They had a 7.8 net rating. Obviously, the offense and defense were both way lower because of the time of the era the game was, but they had a 7.8 net rating, and Detroit has a 8.3 net rating. So it's pretty similar, and they're very similar styles. And there are teams that were led in a similar way, where it was Derrick Rose and a bunch of lunch pail guys doing the work around him. And that's certainly what this Pistons team is. Now, obviously, that team lost in the conference finals. If the Pistons lose in the conference finals, that's going to be an incredible season for them. We'll see if they can go farther. We'll see if they can get there. But certainly, now that we've gotten through the All-Star break and Detroit's sitting there, they've got a bunch of big games coming up, including that Cavs game. They're going to continue to get tested. And like I said, if they stay wire to wire atop the East, especially with these injuries, Cade's going to have a shot. Now,
Cade, by the way, is 14-1.
Right. And Victor being 35-1 is crazy. I know he's missed a bunch of games, but he should definitely be in that.
Well, that's the other thing. He sprains his ankle. He's going to.
That's fine. If he doesn't sprain his ankle, he could win the award. So I think 35-1 is a pretty crazy line for him. In second place, 98 of 100 ballots, right? 18 first place votes, 65 second place votes, 12 third, a fourth, and 2 fifth, and 700 total points is Nikola Jokic from the Nuggets. And so in first place was 78 first place votes, 20 second place votes, 2 third place votes. The only person on 100 ballots, 930 total points, 4 straight ballots leading the poll, which hasn't happened before, is Shai Gilgeous-Alexander from the Thunder.
Wait, how many ballots is Joker not on?
2.
Oh, he's averaging 29, 12, and 11.
Well, again, I think
I kind of felt embarrassed putting
16
the third.
games. Well, I think it goes back to having missed 16 games. I would have had him on my ballot, to be clear, but I think, he's on the verge of not being eligible.
Tease on those 2 voters for sure. I'm sorry.
If he plays every game the rest of the season and remains eligible, my suspicion is he'll be back up to 100 ballots.
Interestingly, on Shai, Shai's obviously having an MVP caliber season. He is statistically having a better season even than he did last year. I mean, his efficiency.
And shooting 55% from the field is crazy as a guard who takes a lot of jumpers.
Yeah, as a 32 point per game scoring guard,
that's incredible.
The efficiency is absolutely insane. And the 3-point efficiency is way up. He's shooting 39% from 3 this year, which is up from last year. There's no question he's having an MVP caliber season. The first straw poll, one of the big things to me, and I voted Shai first in this one too, but one of the big things that separated Shai in the first straw poll and made it a much easier decision to me was the fact that at the time the Thunder were on pace to set an NBA record for wins. They're not going to have more wins than they did last year. Now they've lost 14 games now. At the time, they might have only had one loss at the time we did the first straw poll. It was something ridiculous like that. So he's not going to have the 70-plus win tiebreaker or weight to his case. The rest of his case is still pretty strong on its own, though.
Do you have the data? I should have asked you about this, Bontemps, where he was in the second poll last year.
Yep. We can pull it up right now.
Oh, Bontemps is at the ready.
He, last year, in the second straw poll, he was winning. If I can get this to load.
So you said 77 first place votes, right?
It's 78. He had 78 and Jokic had 18. Last year in the second one, he had 70 and Jokic had 30.
Yeah, remember
he was stronger.
I remember last year, you felt that it was a genuine toss-up at the second straw poll, or maybe you didn't think a genuine toss-up. You felt either of them could win it at this point last year.
Yeah, I thought Shea was going to win, but I thought, I was emphasizing that 70-30 in first place votes sounds like a landslide, and it's really not.
I remember you saying that.
It only takes a handful of people to flip their vote around, and all of a sudden, in a binary choice, it can flip the other way pretty fast. I think the funny thing is, like you said, MacMahon, when we did this one in December, I felt pretty strongly. Part because Jokic never gets hurt, and I didn't expect him to have a 16-game absence with a bone bruise in his knee, that if the Thunder fell off, Jokic would win because Jokic's numbers are completely insane. And Shea being up there was in large part both because he's incredible and his team was having this undeniably incredible start to the year. It is really interesting. I think I sort of wonder if people are aware, like sort of to Kevin's call to me, how close the Western Conference standings are. And I do think there's a chance for things to get upset pretty quickly if, let's say the Thunder continue to scuffle a little bit with these injuries and the Spurs win 9 in a row and end up ahead of them. Like, people then are going to go, whoa, look at that. Or if even Detroit, which is now, I think, percentage points actually ahead of the Thunder.
Detroit has the best winning record or winning percentage in the league right now.
So, like, if Detroit rips off, if they win that Cavs game on the All Access Day next week, they play the Knicks Thursday night. By the time you listen to this pod, the game will have happened. I think the game, I want to say that game's at the Garden.
There's a good wager. So the Pistons have outscored the Knicks by 67 points this year.
Yes.
The Knicks have had to listen to that for the last 2-3 weeks. They get him coming out of the break. What do we think is going to happen in that game?
Well, listen, no Isaiah Stewart, no Jalen Duren if the Knicks can't win that game.
Oh, that's right. The suspensions. I forgot about that.
Well, but listen, they didn't have Jalen Duren in the first two games.
Forget?
I know.
They didn't have Jalen Duren either of the first two games. So
that's true.
But yeah, so like Detroit, I think to your point, like people are going to start to really clue in on Detroit right now. I think even more than they have been. So yeah, like Shea's got a really big lead, obviously. I think he's the very clear favorite to win, particularly with the injury stuff in play for Jokic. Like, it's more likely than not Jokic won't be eligible. Now, if you told me he played every game the rest of the season, yeah, I could see that. But like the chances of him having some knock over the next couple of months is at least plausible enough to make it a real possibility.
But I would also say there's a reason he came back with a little bit of a cushion.
Oh, no question. Listen, if you asked me to truly bet, is Nikola Jokic going to play the rest of the season, I would say yes, because the guy never has gotten hurt before. So, but it's close enough to at least leave open the real chance.
Also, the Nuggets have been so banged up, they've needed him.
Yeah, well, and people used to wonder whether Joker cared about MVP. He does, and that became clear late last year.
Malika did a really nice job in an interview with Jokic and asked him. I retweeted earlier. It's on social media. I'm sure anybody can find it. She asked him about this idea that people don't care, and I was glad that finally after all these people have acted like Jokic doesn't care about anything, he was like, yeah, of course I care about things. Why wouldn't I care about all this stuff? It's like, yeah, no kidding. This guy came from Serbia and became, one of the 10 or 15 best players of all time, and he didn't care about basketball? Really?
He doesn't care about
that's the narrative we're going to create.
Statistical categories, like relative to other players.
He cares about statistical categories too. It's why he averages a triple-double.
I know, but not like
he doesn't
He's
not a blatant stat chaser. Well, he was like, even before they changed the rule on the heaves, he was heaving in every opportunity. He broke the record for heaves last year.
Because in all honesty, he just did the math. He did the math, and he felt that the chance of making a heave was more important than a few percentage points. Also, he knows he's going to make a high percentage
anyway. The heave thing shows you how much he cares about winning. But yeah, he does.
Right.
There have been, and Joker's had a bunch of Sombor doubles, as they call them, where he's like 9 rebounds, 9 assists. I've also seen him stay in to get a 10th rebound or a 10th assist a few times.
That's also not a crime. I'm not saying that is some sort of crime. Like, it's totally fine. But of course the guy's a maniacal competitor. Like, this has always driven me insane.
You might call it the Sombor doubles. Well, or the Sombor doubles. Is that what you call it? Well, there's a lot of Akron doubles on that too, because LeBron has had a bunch of near misses, and he's also had a bunch where he chased it
for sure,
and then checked out.
By the way, the other thing I thought was really interesting in that Malik interview was Joker basically saying, hey, as long as I'm playing at a high level, I'll be playing. Like, don't think I'm going to, because there's this idea
I'm going to
like,
hang it up at 30. These people acting like he's going to hang it up at 32 and go back and he just wants to go be with the horses. Like, pretty sure the guy wants to continue to play basketball.
He can be with
the
horses when he's 47.
And by the way, his game's going to age pretty well because he doesn't exactly rely on explosiveness as it is.
He doesn't.
Hey, you did mention the Nuggets' health. I got trimmed on NBA Today this afternoon, so I didn't get my little Nuggets reporting in there, but I can give a quick little report on their 2 guys who are out with hammies.
All right, let's hear it.
Aaron Gordon, they sent a trainer with him. He went to Orlando for the All-Star break. They sent a trainer with him. He participated some in practice yesterday, full court sprints.
That's a great sign.
He's dunking. He's playing one-on-one. They're going to be cautious, obviously. This is the second time this year he's had a hammy, also last year in the playoffs. The next step is getting him 3-on-3, 4-on-4, 5-on-5. They're looking at doing that after this road trip, so next week. So he's still probably a couple weeks away. And then Peyton Watson's just a little bit behind that. They're pleased with his progress. They'll be cautious with him. With Watson, though, there's not the concern that there is with Gordon, that Gordon's had a lot of these soft tissue injuries stack up on him the last couple of years, where this is a first for Watson.
All right. They're still going to be without him for a few weeks.
I would say those top 4 guys all have, I think, a legitimate chance to win. I think the heavy favorite is Shea, and I'd be pretty surprised if Shea doesn't win. But because of the Jokic injury question, I don't think it's a 2-horse race. And I do think the door is, I think, legitimately open for those 2 young guys to potentially do a Derrick Rose and change the narrative a little bit. Because, like I said, I think it will really jar people if the Thunder all of a sudden aren't leading the West, or if the Pistons get a couple game lead and win these high profile national TV games. Like, wait a second, Detroit has the best record in the whole league? Really? With this one guy as their main guy on offense?
So what do you think the last time an American you felt had a chance after the second straw poll?
It's a good question. I don't honestly know if I've...
Not to go full Patriot.
James Harden, probably.
I was going to say,
I guess the first 2 were James Harden and Russ. So, I could go back and look. I have all of them right here.
Well, that was the Harden, Russ, Kawhi year.
The first year I did it was 2017, when you had the 4-horse race with James Harden, Russell Westbrook, Kawhi, and LeBron. The next year was then LeBron and Harden. LeBron and Harden, then Harden, Curry, Durant, LeBron, all in the top 4. Then Giannis won the next 2 going away, and from then on it was, it's been Joel and Nikola, and then it's been Shea. So it's been a long time, probably 7-8 years.
Victor's going to get. He'll be an MVP, if not multi-time MVP.
And I think Cade's got I would say Cade is fourth on that list. I think Victor's more likely to win than Cade. But again, Cade is, of those guys, Cade is healthy and is far away from the injury threshold. So, like,
if the Pistons have the best record in the league, that is an awfully strong part of an MVP case. Just like if the Spurs end up atop the West for Victor,
for sure.
Good work, Bontemps. Good analysis.
So I'm here
Do you want to talk about this tanking story? I don't really want to kill the.
I mean, I talked about it at the beginning a little bit when we talked about it, but a longtime league executive who's proposed this in the past is pushing for it again this year, and it's got support in various places across the league, and essentially it's just to all these fixes we tend to talk about, whether it's removing draft odds or flattening the lottery or removing pick protections. All these things tend to be focused on trying to de-emphasize losing as opposed to emphasizing winning. And I've thought about this a lot since Pelton and I wrote a big story on tanking a year ago, and I just keep coming back to the only way to actually change the problem is to change the incentives. And I just think about where the league would be this year if this was in place, and coming out of the All-Star break, you had all these bad teams make trades to get better, and all these guys were coming back to play, and you were going to be set up for this 2-month stretch going into the playoffs where everybody was going to be locked and loaded and playing hard and competing every night. And you wouldn't be going through the schedule going, man, which of hopefully there's all the 10 teams that are trying to lose are playing each other. So then everybody else is just playing. Like, it's just really made the final couple months of the season a real drag. And I think changing that to a system where everybody's incentivized to try to win these games when the most eyeballs are on the league and it's going into the playoffs and playoff races are being decided, and there should be a lot of excitement about the second half of the season. Instead, it's just like we're sitting here today and got Adam Silver having calls with GM saying, we're going to fix this and we're not going to be able to do this anymore. And it should be an exciting time of the schedule. And instead it's kind of a dreary time in the schedule. And it's largely because of this stuff. And I think this would be a rule that would, cause teams to really have to try now. And like, even for example, we've talked about Giannis having no reason to come back. Well, now Giannis should have a reason to come back and play.
Well, and let's be honest, if Giannis comes back, we will be critical of the Bucks because it's a terrible decision for their franchise, and that sucks.
That sucks. It sucks that we're sitting here talking about that.
They've won 5 of their last 6. By the way, they've won 5 of their last 6 games, and Giannis wants to come back, and I'm like, boy, that's not going to help them.
Right. It's that sucks. Like, that's just not fun. Again, like we've joked about Zubats, coming back, and Rick Carlisle, get traded there. Rick Carlisle saying he had this ankle injury. Like, it would be really fun if bad teams were incentivized to make trades at the trade deadline to get better and to make a push in the second half of the season. Like, all the movement at the trade deadline this year was from bad teams trying to get better for 2027, in large part because the draft isn't good in 2027, so nobody wants to tank, as opposed to the last 2 years when the draft has been awesome.
There's all this turbulence on the private jets once they're traded to aggravate injuries that were healed a month before.
Sometimes before they even get on the jet. It's a pre-jet.
Sometimes.
Exactly.
I just want to say 3 things.
Oh.
One.
Okay.
I know who the executive is who comes up with this, and he would be on any blue ribbon panel to come up with a solution. And so I don't know if it'll work, but no one will have thought about it deeper. That's number 1. Number 2, the commissioner is now awoken on this, and you can argue about whether or not he, A, has been sleeping at the wheel too much, and B, has the ability to impact behavior because it's not something that he has historically done. But
they're going to impact behavior. It's just a question of what they're going to do. They're going to do something. I can promise you that.
But
they're at least going to impact the overt behavior. Covert, still okay.
That's true. And let me just say that, but now the commissioner is on the warpath about it. What that means,
he's
what that'll lead
to the massive outrage.
Yeah, the last time he was on the warpath about it was when Sam Hinkie was doing this with the Sixers, and they flattened the lottery odds. And look, I think you can make a fair argument that flattening the lottery odds. Well, I was just going to say, you can make a fair argument that flattening the lottery odds has made this a lot worse because you have now a lot more teams that are incentivized to do this.
That dovetails perfectly into my third point, which is
there you go.
The first anti-tanking maneuver was the lottery itself, which is 40 years old. Then they did 5 lottery changes. They've altered the lottery 5 times. Then they installed the play-in tournament, which is an anti-tanking measure. So that is 7 maneuvers to curb tanking. I do not believe the 8th, whatever it is going to solve it. But it can slow the bleed.
And that's why I do like the plan that Bontemps wrote about, because you're incentivizing winning down the stretch where teams are.
Well, you could argue, though, the play-in incentivizes winning, but it didn't. It incentivizes everybody winning.
Until the Mavs tank their way out of the play-in, right?
Yeah,
it's just to get the top 10 protected pick.
Yeah, because with the flattened lottery again, like this is where people saying, I was on TV talking about this afternoon. Ramona was on, our pal, and she was like, well, they should just flatten the odds across the lottery and have everybody have an equal chance, because
then you'll never have a team trying to make the bottom of the play-in.
Well, right. That's the problem, is anything that gives more teams a fair shot at getting the number 1 pick is only going to cause more teams to be incentivized to get the number 1 pick, which again, I totally, like we've talked about before, and as you've said repeatedly, Brian, we know all the people on these teams doing this. It's not like the people on these teams doing this are thrilled to be trying to lose these games. Everybody wants to gets into this business because they want to compete and win at the highest level.
It's good people doing these things. That's what I keep saying. It's good people.
Right. And the facts are that the incentives are set up right now for these teams to try to get one of these players in what's an unbelievably good draft, at least on paper. We'll see how it pans out in the future. But, again, the Spurs have basically done this 3 times in their history, and they got David Robinson, Tim Duncan, and Victor Wembanyama. You could say everything else about Greg Popovich and R.C. Buford and all the other things the Spurs have done, and I have immense respect for the Spurs. This is not meant as any sort of criticism, but the reason the Spurs have been probably the model franchise in the NBA for the past 35 years is because they got David Robinson, Tim Duncan, and Victor Wembanyama in the lottery with the number 1 pick in the draft, and not Michael Olowokandi and Zachary Richeche and Anthony Bennett.
Oh, you could have at least gone with 3 retired guys. Don't throw Richeche
I'm just saying, like, Richeche was between Cooper Flagg and Victor Wembanyama. Like,
that's tough.
But it's just true. Like, there wasn't a guy, and like, he's not like this draft. Whoever gets the top pick or 2 in this draft has got a chance to get a guy who can fundamentally change a franchise. So
you could get a guy
the fix has to be
from
about
Kansas who plays 18 minutes a night.
Well, you can't do that too.
Already ready to load manage. But you don't have to manage his load for him. He does it himself.
That's right. But that's why the fix it's why I really, to your point, MacMahon, it's why I really like this idea, and I really hope it gets some momentum. Because it's the only one, like Shams put out a bunch of stuff that's been discussed. All of it was about de-emphasizing losing. None of it was about giving everybody full incentive to really compete down the stretch and care about these games when everybody is tuning into the league for the first time.
And by the way, there's this these people who watch basketball while puffing on their wooden pipe with their sport coats that have elbow patches on them. There's this, they should abolish the draft. They should abolish the draft. Dude, you ain't getting 24 freaking owners to vote on abolishing the draft, because there's about how many teams are just going to be completely screwed?
Well, I know who's going to vote against it.
Every small market team.
Spurs are going to vote against it.
Well, hey, forget even that. I mean, Stan Van Gundy, I don't know if he walks around with patches on his jackets. He is pushed for this, but I would just say, what do people really like? Trades. You want to know what generates trades around the league? Draft picks.
They're like cigarettes and a pokey.
We have a draft show every year. That was great. As you're wearing your thing that could look like a jumpsuit there.
I thought that's where he got it. I thought that was from high school.
Yeah, I mean,
I also have this in orange.
But yeah, so ultimately they gotta give teams full reason to want to be as good as possible and not give them reasons to be bad. Because if they do, they're going to lean into being bad. We've seen that. Like, teams are going to do what's in their best interest. So change that, and they'll change their behavior.
All right. This is a Bontemps poll pod. I'm calling quits to it, even if you're making good points. All right, Bontemps, strong work.
Thanks, bud.
MacMahon, great voting. You did your ballot was great work.
This is classic.
Nice refereeing.
Yeah, the superstar who kisses the referee's butt hoping he gets a favorable whistle. That's Windy.
Yeah, well, I learned by watching Luka.
Wendy's like his boy Luka. Lots of complaining.
Luka has not quite mastered the art of refereeing.
That's true.
I would say. He has a lot of skill.
Right.
That's one he needs to work on.
Thank you to our producers, Tucker, Jackson, Devon, and Mark. Thank you to MacMahon. Special thank you to Bontemps. Some pods he gets less than a full thank you. This one, a special thank you. Like MacMahon's honorable mention. Honorable thank you. Thank you for listening to watching the Hoop Collective. We'll talk to you next week.
Adios, amigos.